So this is the ninth video of series Chess Opening Theories, and in this video I will tell you about the Vienna opening with the help of four very important variations. Okay, so now let's start with the first one. This is known as Stanley Variation. Okay, it starts with the move pawn to e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop to c4, knight takes e4. Okay, it's not a blunder. The thing is, if white captures back here, then there is a center fork trick. Okay, so here the move that white could play is queen to h5, threatening here the mate. Okay, so here knight back to d6, bishop back to b3, bishop to e7, knight f3, knight c6, knight takes e5, pawn g6, queen e2, knight to d4, queen d3, knight takes bishop, a takes b3, knight to f5, castles, pawn to d6. Okay, so here as you can see, this is the 11 moves. This is the Stanley variation 11 moves. Here you can see already the plus and minuses. If we will talk, then white is having the good development here compared to black. White is having this open file for the rook, so rook is already active, you can say. And in terms of black, black is ready to castle. Black is having the bishop pair, and it is a kind of open game, so that bishop pair will give will be helpful for black. Okay, but in a way this position is equal for both the sides, so all the three results you can expect from here. And the main thing is about this position is it will more remain solid setup. Okay, so if you like to play solid openings, if you don't want too much dynamics going on, so this is what you could try. And Vienna is something that I am telling you, so many people are there which don't prepare for the Vienna game. So if you have this opening in your bookshelf, it would be good for you. Okay, so now let's go back and now let's look at the second variation. This is known as three knight games variation. Okay, so it starts with the move pawn to e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop c4, and here instead of taking the pawn, black plays the move knight to c6. Okay, so this is three knights. So then pawn d3, knight a5, then knight ge2, knight takes bishop, d takes, bishop to c5, castling by white, pawn to c6, queen d3, pawn d6, pawn to b3, strengthening the structure, then bishop to e6, knight to a4, knight d7, then after knight takes. So this opening again, here it is also a very solid opening, and here it could again lead to some opposite color bishop endgame situations. Okay, again all three results you can expect. Again, not very dynamic. It's more of a solid opening. Here there is a weakness that black is having on the d6, but okay, it can be protected properly. In terms of the weakness, this little bit of the structure is damaged for white, not much, just slightly. And again, it's playable from both the sides. Black is again ready to castle. Okay, so this you can try, and it would be very helpful for you. Okay, so now let's go back and now let's look at the third variation, and this is known as Mysis variation. Okay, so it starts with the move pawn to e4, e5, knight c3, and then after the move knight to f6, the move that is being played here is pawn to g3 here by white. So it goes with d5, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop g2, knight takes c3, b takes c3, bishop to d6, knight f3, castle, and castle by white as well, then knight to c6, rook b1, rook to b8 to avoid any kind of threats from this bishop, because this bishop is very dangerous that white is having. Then pawn to d4, h6. Okay, h6 is played to avoid this bishop move here, because just now he played d4 and opened up the bishop. Okay, here again as you can see, it's again a very solid opening, and in terms of material it's perfectly equal for both the sides. Both the sides have the bishop pairs and the one knight, and white is having this open file that he can use to attack. At the same time, in terms of black, as you can see, this pawn structure is damage, so this will give advantage for black. Okay, so these are the plus and minuses. So now again all three results are possible from here as well. Okay, so now let's go back and now let's look at the fourth variation. This is known as max lange defense. Okay, so it starts with the move pawn to e4, e5, knight c3, and in max lange black goes knight to c6. In all other three it was going knight to f6 first. So then bishop c4, bishop c5, queen g4, pawn to g6, queen f3, knight f6, knight ge2, pawn d6, pawn d3, bishop to g4, queen g3, h6, f4, bishop takes e2, knight takes e2. Okay, and here this is one, like all the other three variations were pretty solid, but I would say this is a very dynamic variation. Here you can already see there is a trouble. The queen side battle have already started. Okay, white is already looking for some attacks. Okay, like if sometime white castles here, then there is a move queen takes pawn, because that bishop will be pinning the pawn. So black need to be little bit careful. At the same time white is having lot of weaknesses here, as the f and e both the pawns are moved. So if black just managed to defend it properly, so then it would be good for black. Again all the three results are possible, but this game is more of the going into the dynamic side. So I expect that one of the player will win, because if someone do the mistake, then it would be very difficult to come back in the game for that particular player. Okay, so these were the four variations. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.